If you know me, you know I've lost over 90 pounds, built some nice solid lean muscle, and a pretty nice lean physique. What you don't know is I did all of this being type 1 diabetic. Yup, my whole journey, everything being a type 1 diabetic. And it's time that I tell y'all about it and how I did it. So let's talk about it. So let me go back a little bit, back to when I first got diagnosed. So I got diagnosed when I was 16 years old. So it's pretty fairly new. I've only had diabetes for a couple years and it was a life changer for me. I remember the time that I got diagnosed when I was 16. I started crying to my parents, freaking out. I thought my life was over. I thought I wasn't normal. I pretty much thought that, I don't know. I was just freaking out. I was a 16-year-old kid freaking out because I literally didn't know that much about it or anything. I just thought diabetes, everyone's gonna laugh at me, make fun of me, my life's over, and it was so bad. I literally got sent into a spiraling depression because of it, which caused me to just be alone in my room every day, depressed, gaining weight, and especially me, when I was 16, before I got diagnosed, I was just your typical high school student. I played basketball, I played football, I went out with my friends, I was a social butterfly, but as soon as that happened, I cut everyone off, got sent into a spiraling depression. I didn't even tell my best friend about it for over a year. I was so embarrassed about it, which I shouldn't be, but I was. I was a 16-year-old kid who was anxious about it. So here we are at the worst point of our life. I had gained over 80 pounds. I was the heaviest I ever been. I was huge and I was depressed. My A1C was horrible. I didn't take care of myself. I never even checked my blood sugar. There was like a year or 2 years where I didn't even look at my blood sugar. I was done. Like I pretty much gave up on life. And this broke my parents' heart. This broke my family's heart because they're so supportive and they just wanted to see me succeed. So seeing me depressed in my room all day, depressed, it broke them. It broke me. And one day I just had enough. I couldn't do this anymore. I had 2 little brothers that I want to be there for. I want to be there for my family. I want to live a nice, long, happy life. You only get one life and I'm wasting it being depressed in my room, overweight. I couldn't do it anymore. I could not do it anymore. So I finally had enough. I started going to the gym alone every day by myself. That was another hard thing for me. It's like a lot of us need someone to go to the gym with, but not everyone's gonna be able to fit your schedule. You just gotta start going. So I just started going. I said, you know what? I'm done with this. I wanna go. I wanna have better numbers. I just wanna lose a couple pounds. It wasn't even about being lean or having a nice physique. But here's the thing that people don't understand about insulin and being type 1 diabetic. Insulin is a growth hormone. So insulin is actually gonna cause you to put on weight the more you use. This is why bodybuilders who have no issues or they're perfectly healthy, they use insulin to put on size or put on weight because it's a growth hormone. So the more insulin you use, the more weight you're gonna put on, which is why you go low when you use way too much insulin, causing you to absorb more nutrients, absorb more food, and eat more food. Do you ever have like a low blood sugar and your stomach's like a bottomless pit and you can just keep on eating because you're low and you think you're gonna die? Yeah, that helps people put on size. That helps people grow. So for me, when I was using all this insulin and not moving around, not being active, just being sedentary in my room, it caused me to put on a lot of extra weight. And also when I first started working out, I wasn't losing weight right away because I was still using a lot of insulin. Here's the thing, when I started working out and started being more active, I actually had to reduce my insulin intake. The reason was because I didn't need that much insulin anymore. I was starting to be more active, so I was actually going low all the time because I was still using a lot of insulin. So I dropped my dosage. And this is something that you should consult with the doctor. Like, don't take my advice. I'm not a doctor. I'm just telling you what worked for me. So consult your doctor about dropping your insulin dosages, but this is what worked for me. I ended up cutting my insulin in half. And a couple reasons why is, first, being more active and transitioning to an active lifestyle, your insulin sensitivity is gonna just shoot up the roof. Like, you're being more active, you're getting more blood flow, you're getting more circulation. Do you ever notice when you run around or do something active for a little bit, you go low? It's because your body's not used to that. So you're gonna have a lot of low blood sugars. And another thing is, when you gain muscle or you put on any kind of muscle increases your insulin sensitivity. So you're gonna require less insulin versus if you didn't have that muscle. And it's kind of crazy, especially as a type 1 diabetic, that you can actually reduce your insulin usage to the point where you barely need any. When I lost all my weight, when I lost 90 pounds and I was the leanest I ever been in my life, I was using maybe 3 or 4 units a day of Humalog. No Lantus, nothing. And I had a 4.6, 4.7% A1C after this journey. And before that, that, before I started, I had like a 9.7, 10% A1C. It was horrible. They were talking about suspending my license because I had no blood sugar checks. Like I said, I didn't check my blood sugar for over 2 years. My doctor didn't even want me to drive anymore. So that's when I had enough, and I said, I gotta lose this weight. I gotta get in shape. Like, I'm not gonna lose my license. So let's take a deep dive into what I did and what worked for me for losing over 90 pounds and putting on some solid lean muscle as a type 1 diabetic. First off, the challenges. The challenges of being type 1 diabetic are crazy. If you undereat and you move more, you're gonna have a low blood sugar. So then you gotta eat a snack, and then it erases your calorie deficit. And it's so frustrating when this happens because you work so hard to have a nice calorie deficit, but then you get a low blood sugar. And another thing is, if you eat more and you use more insulin, you're gonna gain weight faster. It's almost like every single workout I had to worry about being too high or being too low, and it was so frustrating. So what I did is I started studying my body. I started studying my body like a book. What foods get me high? What causes me to go low? And this is another reason why I ended up dropping my insulin all the way to 4 or 5 units a day, because I just got really active and I put on a lot of muscle. But before I jump into that, let me rewind it back a second here and talk about preventing lows, because this is a huge one and this is the first step. You got to prevent lows to be able to be in a calorie deficit and start losing weight. So to prevent lows, I always made sure I had some carbs right before my workout, and I didn't take insulin with the carbs because I knew I would go low. So I didn't mind being in the upper hundreds, even maybe at like 180, 190, because I know I'm gonna go down all the way to like 70 or 80. That's the thing, is my blood sugar always got low, which is why I dropped my insulin dosage to 4 units. I had to drop it that low because I was going low all of the time. As soon as I dropped it so low to the point where I had to do maybe 2 doses a day, it was so crazy. My doctor could not believe it. They were freaking out, like in a good way. Like, they were so surprised. They were like, what the heck? Like, they've never seen this before. They've never seen that before, to the point where I barely needed any insulin. This was great on the wallet too, saving so much money, not worrying about to buy so much insulin. Like, it's literally a cheaper way to live too as a diabetic, because we know how expensive it can get buying all those diabetic supplies, man. It's crazy. But yeah, so reducing my insulin and having more carbs throughout the day, especially if you're being active, is gonna help you prevent those lows. And the thing is I would make sure I had my higher carb meals either pre-workout or post-workout, because I know pre-workout that my blood sugar is gonna drop, and I know post-workout that I'm at a low blood sugar already and I need the carbs. And taking those carbs with some insulin is actually gonna shuttle those carbohydrates and nutrients into my muscles, and it's not gonna turn into fat because my body is exhausted, my muscles are destroyed, and they need carbohydrates and protein to grow and recover. So let's say post-workout, when I'm done working out, I would probably have like a 70 or 80 blood sugar level, and I would eat a nice high carb meal and maybe take up to like 2 units of insulin, because my blood was already so low and my insulin sensitivity is so high from the strength training and the cardio that I did that I really didn't need any insulin. I didn't even need Atlantis. I literally had like a 120 blood sugar all throughout my sleep. It was so crazy and awesome. And the reason why this happened is a combination of strength training and cardio. So I would strength train for about an hour, 4 to 5 times a week, and I would do cardio after every training session. The reason behind this is because when you put on muscle or gain muscle, it increases your insulin sensitivity. So you're gonna require less insulin the more muscle you have. And not to mention body fat. Body fat actually decreases insulin sensitivity. So the more body fat you have, the more insulin you need for it to do its job. So just know, it wasn't just worrying about calories in, calories out. I had to worry about my diabetes while dropping body fat. But yeah, so having more muscle and having less body fat allowed me to eat more food without requiring as much insulin, especially carbohydrates. Like, we love carbs. I love carbs. Carbs are so good. Like, I wasn't eating a low carb diet. I was eating like 200 to 300 grams of carbohydrates. Like, I love my carbs. I love pasta. I love pizza. To this day, I still eat 200 to 300 grams of carbohydrates a day. They benefit your workouts. They fuel your workouts. They give you energy throughout the day. It's just about insulin timing and making sure that you're consuming those carbs at the proper time. For example, I work out later in the day. So throughout the day and midday, I'm pretty low carb, high protein, high fat. and then at the end of the day, I get all my carbs in when I know that it's gonna benefit my workout and benefit my recovery without spiking my blood sugar. And somewhere in the middle, probably 40, 50 pounds in, my mind shift changed. I was like, I can do this. I can do whatever I want with diabetes. It's not limiting me. I'm a normal. I can put on muscle just like everyone else. I can lose body fat just like everyone else. If anything, I could use this insulin to my advantage to help me put on a little more muscle. So I felt better about myself. I didn't even feel like I'm diabetic anymore because I literally had stable blood sugar levels all day, every day, very minimal insulin use. Like, this was great. I think I finally found the lifestyle for me, and I didn't want to stop. Like, I love the results, so I kept going. I kept doing more research, and then I actually ended up going to school to become a personal trainer, and I'm still in school right now going for my bachelor's degree in kinesiology. Like, I wouldn't have done this if I didn't fall in love with the gym and all the benefits that I got from living a healthy, nice lifestyle. Like, it really improved my whole life. Like, before this whole workout journey, I didn't want to go to college. I just wanted to find a nice, decent job, come home from work, play some video games, eat some junk food, and live a nice, normal, basic life. And that changed now. That changed. Like, as soon as I changed my life and saw the benefits I got from being more active, doing more training, eating right, I wanted to do that for other people. So I became a personal trainer, and I started my own personal training business, all because I wanted to better myself. And now I want to help other people do that. And it became a big passion for me. I started managing a gym. I became a personal trainer. My whole life revolves around being active and being healthy now. And the side reward from that is I got stable blood sugar levels. I don't have to use that much insulin. Like, life's good. Life is good. Compared to where I started, it is night and day, the differences from when I first started. So if you're type 1 diabetic trying to lose weight, here are the 4 things that I recommend you do for sure. Number 1, track your food. You already track your carbohydrates, so track your protein and track your fat. This is your macros. So there's 4 calories in a gram of carbohydrates, there's 4 calories in a gram of protein, and then there's 9 calories in a gram of fat. So count your protein, count your fat, count your carbohydrates. You're already counting your carbohydrates. It's really easy now because you have all this experience counting carbs. Number 2, lift weights. Strength train 4 to 5 times a week. You're gonna put on muscle and increase your insulin sensitivity, which is gonna require you to use less insulin, which is gonna help you lose weight and also help you save a little bit of money without having to buy so much insulin. Like, one insulin pen would last me like almost 3 weeks, a month. I don't know. I barely used it. Now I'm on the pump since I could afford it and stuff, but I barely fill the pump up, maybe like a quarter, halfway, because I was wasting so much insulin. Like, I barely use insulin, guys. I'm telling you, I barely use any insulin. Number 3, don't fear carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are actually good for you and beneficial. If you're consuming them at the proper time, right before your workout or post-workout when your body really needs them, you're not gonna get those high of blood sugars. Like, I promise you, especially if you're strength training 4 to 5 times a week, doing 30 minutes of cardio after your strength training sessions. Like, carbohydrates are not gonna affect you how they used to, like, trust me. Number 4, don't rush the weight loss progress. Especially as a type 1 diabetic, the bigger your calorie deficit is, the more you're gonna have lows and just reset your progress. I'm a big believer in a 200, 300 calorie deficit because it's a small calorie deficit causing you to be able to still lose weight, but it's not too big on your body where you're gonna have a bunch of low blood sugars. So this is gonna make the journey way easier, and it's not gonna offset your progress if you had a bigger calorie deficit. If you have a 500 to 800 calorie deficit, that's just too much on your body, especially right away. Like, your body's not used to that, and you're just gonna have low blood sugars. You're gonna have to eat more food to get your blood up, which erases your calorie deficit. But in the end of the day, diabetes does not have to hold you back. You are a regular person. I'm a regular person. Like, I'm literally more healthy than like 80% of like regular people who don't even have diabetes. So like, what's your excuse? There's no excuse. You can do anything you want in your life. Maybe besides joining the military, you could do anything you want in your life. You want to become a bodybuilder, become a bodybuilder. You want to be a powerlifter, be a powerlifter. You just want to be lean, be lean. But this journey taught me so much about consistency, patience, and just delayed gratification. Knowing good things come to those who wait, knowing that like you can do anything you want in your life. And that's the other thing is, you know, everything that I did, if you go through my channel, if you go through everything, it was all while being type 1 diabetic. And I never mentioned it because I didn't want to like, flex it or anything like that. I'm making this video because there's so many people like me who are probably depressed, struggling managing their diabetes, struggling managing trying to be more healthy while being diabetic, and I want to connect with you guys. I really want to connect with you guys because I get it. I still struggle sometimes too. Sometimes I get high, sometimes I get low. Like, that's just what happens. Certain foods just cause you to get a little higher, get a little lower, but it's very rare. It's very rare, and I really minimize the effects compared to how bad it used to be. But I'm gonna start making more in-depth videos. I just wanted to drop this because I had a Reddit post that kind of took off, and so many people are asking me for advice and tips, and it was getting a little overwhelming. So I was like, let me make a video to address some of these questions, and I'm gonna go way more in depth and make more videos on how I deal with, insulin dosaging, carb timing, or how to work out with your pod or your Dexcom, or what's the best place to put them while being active. Because let me tell you, when you have your pod on your leg and you're deadlifting, it is not fun. It is not fun because you're always popping it out or moving it. When your pod moves in, moves around your body and starts bleeding. Yeah. So any questions like that, just drop some comments down below or shoot me a DM on Instagram, and I'll make sure I make a whole detailed video on it. Let's be honest, there's 100 different issues that I could name while being diabetic and how to prevent them or how to talk about them or how to deal with them. So any questions you got, drop a comment, shoot me a DM on Instagram, and I'll make sure to make an in-depth video. It's so hard. Like, when I started working out, I did not know of any diabetic like weightlifters or bodybuilders or anything. I had to do all that research on my own. So if I can minimize those issues for y'all, I would love to do that. And also just to let other people know, like, this was hard for me. Like, it wasn't just worrying about calories and macros and all that. I had to worry about my blood sugar. It makes it that much harder for sure, but it also becomes so much easier and so much better once you know what you're doing. Like, honestly, my life is so much easier now. Like, I barely worry about my diabetes. I never have to worry about it. Compared to before when I first started, it's night and day. But with that being said, I just wanted to drop a quick video to talk to y'all about that. I do have a free Fat to Fit program that I'm gonna put in the description if you want to check that out. It's not diabetic based. I'm working on a type 1 diabetic based program for everyone. You can still apply a lot of those tips, and any questions you have about insulin dosage, carb timing, or preventing lows, just shoot me a message, drop a comment, shoot me a DM. So check it out if you need a basic bare bones program. But with that being said, I'm gonna catch y'all later. I hope y'all have a good day. If you have any questions, drop a comment, drop a like, and subscribe. Peace.